Welcome to the Purpose, Passion, and Profit podcast, a show for ambitious women who are ready to ditch their 9-to-5 and create an online business doing work that's in alignment with their calling. I'm your host, Kelly Dawn, business and money mindset coach for purpose-driven entrepreneurs. Each week, I'll be sharing actionable steps to help you gain clarity, build confidence, and cultivate an abundance mindset that will help you create a profitable, service-based online business. If you're ready to make an income and impact doing what you love, let's do this. Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. Today we're talking about how to create your very first coaching program. So if you're in a space right now in your business where you haven't worked with clients at all, or you are selling single sessions, maybe 60-minute sessions, 90-minute sessions, but you're noticing that it feels like a constant struggle and hustle to sell enough of those to pay the bills every month, you're going to love today's episode. So let's start off with the very first thing we want to look at when we're creating any kind of program. And everything I'm sharing with you today, it's going to apply whether or not you're working with clients one-to-one, or if you want to create a self-study course where you're not even active in it, or if you want to do a live group program. No matter which way you want to go with this, the process I'm sharing with you today is going to apply. So we first want to ask ourselves, what do I want to help people with right now? What do I want to help people with right now in this one particular program? This does not mean that you are locked into selling this program for the rest of your life. Trust me, you get to change, you get to evolve, you get to create as many different programs as you want to in your business. But I want you to stop and just focus on what feels good for you right now to offer your people. Now, before you go off and do market research or start polling your audience and asking them what they want, I want you to look at your own transformation. Because a lot of people make this a lot harder than it needs to be. They look outside themselves and they overthink things and, wonder like, what kind of course should I create? What kind of program should I create? I can't figure this out. Come back to you, look at your own results or the things that you've helped other people do and create something based off of those things. It's going to be so much easier for you because you know it works. You've been through it yourself or you've helped someone else through it. So you know that this program is legit because you have the results. So we want to start with that. And then we want to ask ourselves, okay, so who needs this program? Now, your program could probably help a bunch of different people, but there is someone who is an absolute perfect fit for this program. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret when it comes to figuring out who your ideal client is. It's usually a previous version of ourselves, which makes things so much easier because we can look back and we know what we were struggling with. We know the different things that we were Googling. We know the different things that were keeping us up at night and the kind of change that we wanted to create in our life, whatever area it is that you specialize in. We know what it feels like to feel stuck, to feel frustrated, to want something different, but not really know how to get it. If you just choose a previous version of yourself as your ideal client, this work is going to be so much easier. Now, maybe you've already worked with people and you already know kind of who it is that you want to work with and they're not a previous version of you, they're a little bit different. That's totally cool too. You don't need to get into the specifics of what kind of cereal do they eat and what are they watching on Netflix every night and I don't know, what kind of salad dressing do they use? Like all of that stuff, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. What we want to do is get a general vibe for who this person is. So are they married or single? Are they working full time? Do they love their job? Do they hate their job? Like things like this are good to know because when you're creating content, you can speak to very specific things that person is going through, that person is experiencing. So when I talk about feeling really stuck and frustrated in my 9-to-5, where I would, drive into work on a Monday morning and just wonder like, how many more days do I have to do this? Like, when am I going to figure out what I truly want to be doing with my life? And I remember how defeated I felt at the end of every week, knowing that I just spent another 5 days doing something I didn't want to do. I can speak to that in my content, right? Because I've been there myself, but I also know that there are other women out there who feel the same way, right? So when we use specifics like that in our marketing, when we're selling our program, it's going to be a lot easier for the right people to notice because people are busy on social media and they're scrolling all day long. They're seeing posts, they're reading things. And a lot of the content out there, it's valuable, it's inspirational, it could be motivational and helpful, but it's also really generic. But when you share specifics, when you talk like directly to the person that you want in your program, that person who's scrolling social media, if that's them, they're going to stop. They're going to stop and be like, oh my God, she's in my head. Like, how did she know? How did she know this is exactly what I was feeling? This is exactly what I do all the time. That's why it's really important to know who your ideal client is. The color of socks they wear, the fucking cereal they eat, that stuff does not matter. It's who they are. Like, what are they Googling at night? What's keeping them up? What's going on in their world right now? And when you look back to that previous version of you, it just makes everything so much easier because you can just pull that stuff from memory. Okay, so once you know what it is you want to offer and who the perfect fit client is for this program, you want to ask yourself, okay, what's my process? Now, when you hear that word, you might freak out because you're like, I don't even know what my process is. I have no clue. All I know is that I want to help people and I know what I've done. All you have to do is take a look at where you were and where you are and what got you there. What got you from that point A to where you are now, which is your point B. And your process is what happened in between there. And usually this is about 3 to 5 steps. This doesn't have to be a 17-step process that you walk people through. This can just be a few steps that you know are really going to help your people. So my process is vision, strategy, and mindset. And that's a little bit vague compared to some people's processes. But for me, that works because I like to do things really intuitively. I like to create super customized programs for people when I'm working with them one-on-one. And it's always led by the client. But with this process, we always start with a vision. Like, what do you want to create? Like, whether that's your life, your business, what exactly does that look like? How can we create a business that fits into that vision? And then the strategy, how are we going to do it? We can't just sit on our couch and think happy thoughts and have things magically appear in our life. We all know that. So we need a strategy. We need the how. We need to actually be taking action and doing the things that are going to move the needle forward to help us. And then the mindset piece, that's part of my process because I used to be someone who felt completely trapped by life, like buried in addictions because I just wanted to numb myself. I didn't know I was numbing myself back then, but looking back, that's exactly what was happening. I didn't know the power of mindset work. And when I learned that we're literally creating the reality that we're experiencing by thinking and being a certain way, that literally changed my life. It changed everything in my life. So I know that's what's going to help other people as well. So take a look at the different things that you led yourself through in order to get where you are in relation to this program that you're creating that you want to offer other people. And get your process from there. Again, we're not seeking anything outside of ourselves. All we're doing is looking at what we've created ourselves or that we have led other people through that's helped them create a result. So there's your process, 3 to 5 steps. Again, don't overthink this. I know how easy it is to second guess yourself, to feel like there should be something more complicated here, but it gets to be a lot more simple than you realize. Okay, next we're going to look at the details of your program. So this is where we get into how long is the program? How many calls do you want to have? If it's a group program, is it going to be held on Facebook? What platform is it going to be held on if it's some other place? Asking yourself these details are really important because first of all, we want to be able to share those with the people who are signing up for the program. And also, the more clear we are on all of these things, the easier it's going to be to sell. Right? If you get someone in your DMs asking about your program, and they're like, okay, well, tell me about it. And you're really clear on the transformation, but when it gets to the details, you're like, oh, we'll meet a few times a month on the phone. And if you want to email me in between calls, that's cool too. Like, we don't want to have that wishy-washy energy. We want to be really clear and really direct. So we can say, yeah, we're going to talk on the phone for an hour, twice a month. Between those calls, you are going to have voice and text support. So you can reach out and ask me a question anytime you want to without having to wait for those calls, right? Get really crystal clear on what the details are. Now, within the details, you also have the price of the program. And I'm going to tell you right now that the price of your program should probably be more than you think it is. Because when you're new in business, it's so easy to completely undercharge. But with that being said, I want you guys to choose a price that feels good for you, right? So what price feels the best for you right now for this program? Go with the first answer you get. Again, we don't want to be overthinking this. You can always change the price of something later. You can always raise the price after you run the program a couple times. You're never ever locked into anything in your business. This gets to be the way that you want it to be, but you have to start somewhere, right? So there was a time in my business I was charging, I'm thinking back to single sessions I was doing. It was like $35 for a single session, which is ridiculous. I remember having a call with a coach at the time, and she's like, you realize the industry norm is $150 an hour, right? And I was like, I did not know that. But at the time, I could only get behind $35. Charging anything more than that felt really, really weird and really uncomfortable. So start where you are, pick your price, and get clear on the different details that are going to go into this program. So length of time, number of calls, where it's being held, if there's any additional support, if there are any bonuses that you want to throw in, anything like that, get all of those down on paper. And then the final thing that you need to do is sell it. You need to sell your program. And I'm laughing as I say this because I have created umpteen different programs. I'm thinking back to the earlier stages where my business just lived in a notebook because I was terrified to actually sell anything. And so I would spend hours, and I'm talking hours here, journaling things out, mapping things out in my notebook. And I created all of these different programs. I'm thinking, this is going to be amazing. It's going to be so transformational. I love this business. I love all of these different things I'm creating. But then when it came to selling them, I was terrified. So they never left my notebook. The programs never even saw the light of day because I was too afraid to sell. So we need to actually market this program. So again, we're not going to overcomplicate things. We're going to pick a platform or two, like we talked about it was either episode 2 or episode 3. I forget which one, but we've already talked about where to show up online. We're going to pick a couple of platforms. We're going to talk about the things that your ideal clients are experiencing. What are they feeling? What are they thinking about right now? What are they struggling about? What do they actually want? Right? We don't want to just talk pain points all day long because that's kind of like sticking a knife in them and then pouring some salt on the wound and be like, yeah, I know your life sucks. I know this is really horrible for you. We don't want to constantly be reminding them that they're not where they want to be. But we also want to let them know that we know what that's like and we know the specific things that they're experiencing. So we also want to talk about the desires. We also want to talk about where they want to go, right? My people, they want to be booked out with clients. They want to create full-time income. They want to have the freedom and the flexibility to do what they want during their day, whether that's hanging out with their kids and homeschooling or going for facials and massages in the middle of the afternoon like I enjoy doing. Whatever it is that your people desire, talk about those things, right? We don't want to just be firing pain points at them all day because that can be effective. That can get people's attention, but we also want to be blending in this reality that they want to be experiencing, right? Because people are led by pain and by pleasure. It's a combination of the two things. Some people are going to be a little more drawn to one, but we want to blend those in. We want to talk about both aspects. So we want to be talking about our offer. We want to be talking to our specific, that word didn't want to come out right. We want to be talking to our specific person, letting them know that, like, I know you, I get you because I was you. Like, I've seen this before. I know what it's like, and I know what's available for you on the other side. This is what you need to do. This is what's going to help you. And then you let them know, you know what? I can help you. I can show you exactly how to do this because I've done it myself or I've helped people through this before. Okay? So that's it. We want to get clear on what it is that we actually want to help people with right now. I'm just going to go back over the steps and do a quick little recap with you guys. Knowing that you can create more programs in the future. You are not locked into this one thing for the rest of your life. It's okay. You can just focus on this one thing for now. I know if you're a creative entrepreneur, this can feel a little bit scary, but it's just one program. Then we want to ask ourselves, who needs this the most? Who is my perfect person? What's the process? How are you going to lead people through this? Because your process turns into the modules of your group program or your self-study program. It turns into the framework of your one-to-one private coaching program that can be customized depending on where your client's at exactly. But your process is the how of the transformation that you can offer. Then we want to get clear on the details. And then we get to sell it, right? It doesn't just get to live in our notebook. It gets to get out there into the world so it can help the people it's meant to help. I would love to hear about the program you create after listening to today's episode. Let me know over on Instagram. Just tag me in your stories at igniteyourpurpose.co. And if you want a free PDF guide to go along with today's episode, you can grab that in the show notes below. All right, I will leave you with that. I hope you have an amazing, amazing rest of your day, and I can't wait to speak with you in the next episode.